Good morning, our invited speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it is a pleasure to be a master of ceremony for the International Conference on Multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society on May 11 to 12, 2022. My name is Assistant Professor Pakarang Chunjit from Faculty of Political Science, Ramkhamhaeng University. On behalf of the Faculty of Political Science, we wish to extend our warm welcome and thank you to all participants, guests of honors, delegates, and representatives from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Universitas Muhammadiyah Malang, Indonesia, Ritsumeikan University, Japan, Kyoto University, Japan, University Sains Islam, Malaysia, Development Academy of the Bangsalamoro, Philippines, Bina Nusantara University, Indonesia, University Maliku Saleh, Indonesia, University Technology Mara, Malaysia, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, Naresuan University, Thailand, foreign and local participants to this first International Academy and Conference on Multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society in Bangkok, Thailand. For your information, today we have about more than 50 participants and also experts and professionals joining this conference. All participants come together here to discuss on various contributions to the advancement in Asian community. We hope to able to conclude contributions as in these 2 days of conference session to academia and also ASEAN community. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, I would like to invite Assistant Professor Sathin Sunthornpan, Dean of the Faculty of Political Science, Ramkhamhaeng University, to deliver his welcome speech. Please welcome Assistant Professor Sathin Sunthornpan.
Thank you. The President of the Ramkhamhaeng University, Assistant Professor Dr. Supong Prapyai, the Deputy Director General, Department of ASEAN, distinguished guests, professor, faculty member, student, and all participants. Good morning and welcome everyone. Ramkhamhaeng University today organized the event in the title, the Multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society. This event arranged for celebration of the 50th anniversary of Ramkhamhaeng University and also mark this year 55 years of the ASEAN since its establishment in 1967. At the present, the world is confronted by the multifaceted challenge and sudden disruption. There are uncertainty in the global politics, economics, and other aspects, as well as competition to establish the foothold and seek economic opportunity in the region. The conflict between the major power, like we know, like US, China, Russia, Ukraine right now, EU, NATO, has affected the global politics, trade, investment, climate, and other areas. We are now faced with the challenge from the fourth industrial revolution, which include disruptive technology and innovation that have affected the global arena, including people from all the region, including the ASEAN. The ASEAN are capable of coping with these challenges that we are able to act as a state platform in the region. ASEAN also can perform as a regional architecture amidst major power competition in the region. Moreover, the ASEAN has its own mechanism on cooperation which work to synchronize, deliver strengths in the region. Ramkhamhaeng University today, we organize this event by managing the conferences from the 6 faculty. The Faculty of Political Science here, the Faculty of Education, Fine and Applied Art, science, mass communication, and economics. To strengthen and promote the ASEAN affair in the academic event, in this morning, we received the honor from Kun Ponpong Wangpan, the Deputy Director General from the Department of ASEAN, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as our keynote speaker to address the speech in the opening ceremony. So in the afternoon and tomorrow, we have a panel discussion and a paper presentation from professor and scholar from many countries, like Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, USA, and Thailand. So right now, I'd like to invite Assistant Professor Dr. Sipong Prapyai, the President of the Ramkhamhaeng University, to give the speech for open this ASEAN event in the title of the Multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society. Please, Dr. Sipong.
Distinguished keynote speaker Ponpong Wangpan, Deputy Director General, Department of ASEAN, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, administrators of Ramkhamhaeng University, scholars and presenters, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to extend a very warm welcome to all of you at the Multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society International Conference. ASEAN community was established comprising three important pillars, which are ASEAN Political Security Community, ASEAN Economic Community, and ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. This community emphasized the relation and collaboration among public, private, and civil society sectors in every dimension, including politics, security, diplomacy, and economic, education, and culture. There has been a continual development in various fields, and the ASEAN community has proven itself to be an advanced regional cooperation organization that is adaptive to recent situations. The 21st century is a time full of abrupt changes in economic and social development, politics and government, education, health, natural resources, and culture. These changes directly and indirectly affect both member and non-member of the community, especially in the technological aspect, which result in economic and social advancement. They are followed by the constantly increasing competition in the global community, compelling each country to expedite their development of human resources to be ready to face changes. It is therefore important for Thailand as part of ASEAN community to address this complex issue as well as to constantly adjust to a rapidly changing environment by pursuing bilateral and multilateral cooperation based on multidisciplinary approaches. Ramkhamhaeng University has been part of society and observed the change that occur on the global, regional, national and community level for over 5 decades. No matter how disruptive the recent change may seem, we remain positive and promise to keep our original mission to create equal opportunity for all close to our hearts based on an inclusive principle that aims to minimize barriers and enhance the achievement of all people with equal right to access to higher education. Also, we continue to make sure that we are well equipped for the challenge of the unknown future. I strongly believe that this event that Ramkhamhaeng University intends to organize in collaboration with various respective institutions under the theme of multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society shall serve as a remarkable and meaningful occasion for speakers, academics, and involved researchers to brainstorm, reflect, give academic suggestions, and exchange experience on various significant issues. Furthermore, this conference will be a space where academic students and individuals could meet and discuss and share their academic interests as well as further future cooperation. This international academic conference will cover the topics regarding past experience, present challenge, and future expectations of Asian community in the aspect of science, economics, education, fine and applied arts, mass communication, and political science, which will benefit both public and private sector, including academics, students, and general public. Finally, I would like to encourage all of you to participate in all sessions available at this event. I hope you benefit from the insight, ideas, information that will be discussed and shared. May you enjoy this valuable international conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Assistant Professor Sathin and Assistant Professor Sipong, for a meaningful speech and officiating for the International Academy Conference on Multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the Age of Disruptive Society. Next, we are honored to introduce our keynote speakers, Mr. Phonpong Wangpan. He is currently Deputy Director General of Department of ASEAN, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Since August 2020, Mr. Phonpong Wangpan is one of 3 Deputy Directors General of the Department of ASEAN, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand. He began his diplomatic career at the Department of European Affairs in October 1994. He was involved in the organization of the first ever Asia-Europe meeting, which Thailand hosted in 1996. Since then, he has served multiple stints in various capacities at the Department of International Organizations, Department of Information, and the Office of the Foreign Minister. His most recent foreign posting was in Vienna at the Royal Thai Embassy and permanent mission of Thailand to the United Nations and other international organizations in Vienna. He had previously served in Dhaka, New York, and New Delhi. Mr. Wangpan earned a Bachelor of Arts in Politics, Economics, and Law from the University of Buckingham, United Kingdom, in 1994. He is married to Shalini Wangpan and has 1 son. Please welcome Mr. Phonpong Wangpan.
Sawasdee krap. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. Assistant Professor Dr. Sipong Prapyai, President of Ramkhamhaeng University, Assistant Professor Sathin Suntrapan, Dean, Faculty of Political Science of Ramkhamhaeng University, distinguished academics and participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you, and a good day to those who are joining us online as it is my distinct honor to address this International Academic Conference on a theme which I find most intriguing: multidisciplinary ASEAN Plus in the age of disruptive society. Indeed, the nature of ASEAN's work has been described as multifaceted, multidimensional, and multi-layered. ASEAN is also operating in an increasingly multipolar and complex world, as alluded to by Dr. Sathin. Some scholars have used the term multiplex to describe the new world dynamics. Of course, they're not referring to the multi-screen cinemas, but I reckon a world where multiple events and phenomena are happening at different theaters and by different actors. The genres have become more expansive as engagement with nations or between nations covers political, security, economic, social, cultural, educational, scientific, and many more areas. And because of the close interdependence and linkages of the modern world, we are all by and large affected by their impacts at some levels, disrupting our ways of life, so to speak. In that sense, it would be wise for ASEAN to use a multidisciplinary approach to tackle the challenges and opportunities of the day. However, it is crucial that in doing so, ASEAN must possess unity of approach in addressing the problems. Ladies and gentlemen, in my remarks today, I shall not venture much into the origins of ASEAN or attempt to offer any academic viewpoints, but rather to give an overview of how ASEAN stands in the midst of the fast evolving geopolitical landscape, the challenges and the opportunities, as well as the practical cooperation that ASEAN is engaged in moving forward post-pandemic recovery efforts, and touch on some of ASEAN's priorities, or rather Thailand's priorities in working with other ASEAN members to further advance ASEAN community building process. We are indeed living at a crossroad in history, at a time of uncertainties and unprecedented disruptions, which can be both good and bad. The COVID-19 pandemic is unlike anything we have experienced. It brought everything to a halt and forced us to look back and reevaluate what we have been doing and where we are going. The situation unfolding in Ukraine has further disrupted essential economic supply chains and worse, holding back post-pandemic recovery efforts. It is therefore discernible that since the inception of ASEAN in 1967, the evolving international order has presented ASEAN with many new challenges. While some are traditional security threats, such as the armed hostilities, we are experiencing more non-traditional ones, such as emerging infectious diseases like COVID-19, transnational crimes, terrorism and violent extremism, drug trafficking, cybersecurity, maritime security, disasters, climate change, and other environmental issues. Now, many of these issues that challenges ASEAN are often characteristic of megatrends and are cross-cutting in nature. It is worthwhile to note that these issues have grown in conjunction with significant transformations in the geopolitical landscape of the Asia-Pacific and the conceptual region of the Indo-Pacific that we are now hearing more and more of. As I mentioned earlier, ASEAN is operating in an increasingly multipolar and complex world, vastly different from the security and strategic environment of 55 years ago. There have been an increasing number of security flashpoints around the world over the last 10 years, many of which surprised even the most seasoned followers of international affairs. The Asia-Pacific's strategic landscape, likewise, has become increasingly volatile as a result of intensifying competition between major powers, especially between the United States and China. Security flashpoints tend to cause excessive anxiety, which as a principle in the conduct of foreign relations should be avoided at all costs. So there is a need for nations to stop inflaming tensions, both in action and rhetoric, which could become a harbinger for future hotspots of conflict, further stoking concerns and fears of geopolitical miscalculations. The situation in Ukraine is a case in point, with the ensuing worldwide ramifications that we are seeing today. This is especially concerning that some of these tensions are contrived in the interest of major powers, but the consequences of their competition and confrontation fall on smaller nations and impact on regional security. We in ASEAN need to position ourselves carefully in engaging with major powers and dealing with the strategic and security challenges emanating from their rivalry. Clearly, the scenarios we are witnessing, from the situation in Eastern Europe, the South China Sea, including the establishment of the AUKUS Security Alliance, the missile testings in the Korean Peninsula, to ongoing events in our ASEAN family member, Myanmar, are of no benefit to our region, desperately in need of a peaceful and stable environment for recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Another strategic challenge, and simultaneously I see as an opportunity, is a proliferation of competing regional strategic policies and frameworks on the Indo-Pacific from major powers, all of which, by the way, are ASEAN dialogue partners. These developments, if not managed carefully, can undermine peace and stability in the region and put great pressure on ASEAN. We certainly do not want to see the region become a theater of conflict or confrontation. And more poignantly, we do not want to be drawn or pressured into choosing sides. In the face of this power play, our regional interest and long-term goal is to realize a strategic equilibrium with ASEAN at its core. Therefore, it is important that ASEAN continues to uphold ASEAN centrality, cohesiveness, and unity. At the same time, ASEAN needs to ensure its relevance in the eyes of major powers. We need to demonstrate that we can cooperate and engage with them in a constructive manner. And this is a basis of ASEAN's response in launching the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, or the AOIP. This was adopted in 2019 during Thailand's ASEAN Chairmanship, with a view to ensuring ASEAN's central role in shaping the ASEAN-led regional architecture. It is about turning competitions and contests into practical cooperation in an open, transparent, inclusive, and rules-based setting. The AOIP provides a lens for cooperation under 4 key areas: maritime cooperation, connectivity, SDGs, and economic and other possible area of cooperation. Now, this broad coverage of cooperation based on the strength, this broad coverage of cooperation areas can provide a whole gamut of opportunities for collaboration based on the strength and capacities of external partners and ASEAN member states. Such constructive and pragmatic engagement with major powers and external partners will of course require ASEAN to further build trust and maintain solidarity within ourselves. Only then can we secure ASEAN centrality, which have been cited front and center, and can confidently engage with them on the basis of our strength, resilience, and shared values. Now, there has been many interpretations of what is ASEAN centrality. I would like to share Thailand's perspective on defining ASEAN centrality in 4 dimensions. 1, centrality within ourselves. We need to uphold and promote the principles, shared values, and norms enshrined in the ASEAN Charter, while continuing to deepen our integration process and strengthen ASEAN institutions. 2. Centrality vis-à-vis regional flashpoints. It is important for ASEAN to project unity on regional issues affecting our peace and stability, while leveraging our convening power demonstrated by the success of numerous ASEAN mechanisms. 3. Centrality vis-à-vis the major powers and other dialogue partners. ASEAN must be able to navigate among major powers and take the lead in decision-making processes based on our own needs and interests. And 4. Centrality vis-à-vis the regional architecture. ASEAN must be in a driver's seat of the evolving regional architecture by making ASEAN-led mechanisms more relevant and responsive to regional challenges, while preserving our ownership and leadership role in these mechanisms, such as the ASEAN Plus One, ASEAN Plus Three, the East Asia Summit, the ASEAN Regional Forum or ARF, and the ADMM Plus. So we therefore see the AOIP as a tool to reinforce regional cooperation with our external partners through building strategic trust and pragmatic cooperation in the region based on the 3 M's principle, and that is mutual trust, mutual respect, and mutual benefit. Concurrently, it is also important for ASEAN to be united in addressing intra-ASEAN challenges to maintain our solidarity and credibility. And while ASEAN was born out of political security necessity, promotion of the socio-economic development was actually first and foremost on ASEAN's agenda. In fact, political security and socio-economic development have been in a symbiosis relationship right from the start. Peace and stability was necessary for economic cooperation and integration, while the success of economic cooperation gave ASEAN the clout to act decisively and unitedly in some of the major regional flashpoints in the past. One of the most cited example is ASEAN's role in the Cambodian conflict in the 1980s and 1990s, where its diplomatic efforts at the UN had led to peaceful settlement between the warring factions. Questions are then asked if ASEAN could muster the same influence in the ongoing situation in Myanmar. A short answer to this line of question lies in the ambiguity it depends. The two events do share some similarities, a democratic government being deposed and armed confrontations, but they also differ in a number of important areas. Myanmar being a member of ASEAN is one, and the fact that there is no external party in the conflict is another. If the question, though, is whether ASEAN can play a constructive role in fostering a political solution among the parties concerned, then the answer is a resounding yes. The 5-point consensus agreed by ASEAN leaders on 24th April last year represents a set of targets and intermediate actions that together form a pathway towards peaceful resolution of the conflict. It also represents a multi-pronged approach where a number of undertakings can be implemented in concert, especially on the delivery of humanitarian assistance that must continue unhindered. Regardless of the analogy, the 5-point consensus is a process requiring time, patience, and as our Cambodian chair have repeated time and again, pragmatism. Some tools in the arsenal are also proven ineffective, as both sides of this conflict share the same national interest. Sanctions can be counterproductive, as you cannot hurt one without hurting the other. So in the end, all the sanctions will do, apart from sinking the country into further recession and adding to the misery of its people is eroding trust and confidence the SAC has in the international community, making it more difficult to foster dialogues necessary for political settlement. A similarity is drawn to the situation in Ukraine, halfway around the world from Southeast Asia, and vastly different in terms of origin, nature, and actors. Now, despite all the differences, one commonality of the two conflicts is the damage the international community can inflict on the very people they want to help by inflaming the situation. In the case of Myanmar, the only way the situation can return to normalcy with least damage to the country and its people is for all parties to agree to come to the negotiation table ready for compromise. This will not happen if we all lack pragmatism. ASEAN can therefore seize this opportunity to re-strategize and find innovative solutions to both intra and extra-ASEAN challenges by providing collaboration platforms in a conducive and non-threatening environment to build strategic trust and promote pragmatic cooperation and sustainable peace in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, as I earlier alluded to ASEAN was conceived from political security considerations. Out of fear and in an effort to prevent the spread of communism in the region during the Cold War. But political security dynamics wax and wane with the ever-shifting geopolitical landscape, while the pursuit of socio-economic development is a perpetual responsibility of states, which can be fostered by regional cooperation. I believe that ASEAN's founding fathers envisioned this when they penned the ASEAN or Bangkok Declaration, with the objective of securing the betterment in the well-being of the peoples of ASEAN. This is topmost on the list of the 7 stated aims and purposes of the association. Allow me to quote the first point, which is to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region through joint endeavors in the spirit of equality and partnership, in order to strengthen the foundation for a prosperous and peaceful community of Southeast Asian nations. Following in second on the list is to promote regional peace and stability through an abiding respect for the principles of the United Nations Charter. And thirdly, to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest in the economic, social, cultural, technical, and administrative fields. To me, this is the genesis of a multidisciplinary ASEAN, and I find the provisions of the Bangkok Declaration timeless, which could easily be mistaken as freshly drafted 55 hours ago, rather than the 55 years that elapsed. So I think ASEAN has made a number of remarkable achievements since then in the pursuit of the objectives enshrined in the Bangkok Declaration. From a region in turmoil, ASEAN has transformed into a community that currently ranks as the 5th largest economy in the world, with a combined GDP of close to $4 trillion. Over the past 2 years, ASEAN has been dedicating resources to overcome the immediate challenges of COVID-19 and its disruptive impacts. And because of the scale of the pandemic, we recognize that the crisis must be addressed through coordinated actions, not only within the region, but also cooperation with our external partners. This is evident as ASEAN member states and our external partners join hands in setting up ASEAN's COVID-19 response initiatives right from the beginning of the pandemic. I would just like to highlight a few initiatives. First, the COVID-19 Response Fund, which was initiated by Thailand, has been used to procure COVID-19 vaccines for ASEAN citizens. This is one concrete example where regional cooperation can truly benefit the people and contribute to national efforts in tackling the pandemic. Second, the ASEAN Regional Reserve of Medical Supplies for Public Health Emergencies was set up with contributions by ASEAN member states to enhance our preparedness for future public health emergencies. And third, ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework was established as a collective and long-term socio-economic recovery strategy. The framework covers 5 broad strategies on enhancing health systems, strengthening human security, maximizing the potential of intra-ASEAN market, accelerating inclusive digital transformation, and building a more sustainable and resilient future. So the implementation of this framework will enable us to build back better in an inclusive and resilient way and promote sustainability in the region. And I think ASEAN has shown that it can rebound with resilience in the face of adversities. The numbers speak volumes of how ASEAN economic growth braved the pandemic. Last year, the recovery efforts returned an improved GDP growth at 2.9%, driven by the agriculture, construction, manufacturing, and ICT sectors. Now, this year, ASEAN's economy is forecasted to grow by 4.9%. We also expect a return of tourism, which has been a major driver of growth for many ASEAN member states. And of course, all this positive momentum will also be dependent on external factors, such as evolving geopolitical realities. But despite the improving signs of the COVID-19 situation in our region, with most of us having begun to ease health protocols and cross-border travel restrictions, ASEAN cannot be complacent and must continue to effectively implement these initiatives in response to COVID-19 in order to safeguard our people and at the same time reopen our economies. Ladies and gentlemen, in looking forward, I would like to touch on some of Thailand's priorities in enhancing cooperation within ASEAN frameworks to strengthen the ASEAN community and maintain peace, security, and prosperity in the region. But more importantly, such cooperation will be anchored on the necessity to be better prepared for future emergencies and minimize the impacts of possible disruptions to our society. Well, first is to continue promoting regional integration and economic openness. ASEAN's enhanced economic integration with focus on digital technology and innovation will greatly contribute to the global economy. And in the years ahead, ASEAN will become an even larger market with its links to other major economies through various FTAs, including the most recent one, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or the RCEP. This will provide a fountainhead for ASEAN to become a powerful engine driving the global economy. Thai businesses has definitely benefited from closer economic integration, with ASEAN being our largest trading partner for the past decade, accounting for at least 22% of our foreign trade, or more than 3 trillion baht last year. The economic heft and dynamism of the ASEAN community increased our prospects of attracting businesses, investments, innovations, travel, talents, and much more from all over the world. Being part of various economic agreements and FTAs with external friends and partners, the people of ASEAN will clearly benefit from better value goods and services, innovative developments, and stronger economic infrastructures. Secondly is a focus on the people's agenda in line with the people-centered ASEAN community as envisioned by the ASEAN Charter. We will continue to promote the involvement of ASEAN's peoples in the community building process, including through initiatives such as ASEAN leaders interface with representatives of AIPA, CSOs, and the youth. We have also implemented the Women, Peace and Security agenda in many of ASEAN-led frameworks. The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed our vulnerabilities in many aspects. So we must therefore redouble our efforts on the protection and empowerment of all sectors of people, particularly vulnerable groups. Our aim is to ensure that no one is left behind in any endeavor that ASEAN will be taking on. Third is on the promotion of sustainability. As the ASEAN Coordinator on Sustainable Development Cooperation since 2016, Thailand will continue to promote the sustainability agenda. To build back better and stronger, ASEAN has entrusted Thailand to examine the Biocircular Green Economy Model, or BCG, as a possible strategy for ASEAN's post-pandemic recovery and sustainable future growth. BCG has been adopted as part of Thailand's national recovery strategy, and it envisions the promotion of balanced growth and boosting quality investment in a number of areas, such as food and agriculture, medical services and wellness, bioenergy, biomaterials and biochemicals, sustainable tourism, creative economy, and circular economy. The ASEAN Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand are organizing an ongoing series of webinars to explore the concept and application of BCG through exchanges of knowledge, insights, and best practices with ASEAN member states and our dialogue and external partners. So we aim to deliver actionable recommendations in support of the sustainability agenda in ASEAN and contribute to socio-economic recovery in the post-COVID-19 era. But the world was already struggling with challenges from environmental impacts caused largely by human actions well before the COVID-19 pandemic. We may have made significant gains on our sustainability path in pursuing the sustainable development goals, but the gains appear to be backsliding, and the prolonged pandemic has further upset the biorhythm of both man and nature. However, the pandemic has also given us that rare opportunity to reflect on our actions against nature. I mean, look at how this hybrid conference has, in some small way, lessened the global carbon footprint and contributed to the Race to Zero campaign. We may have, however, inadvertently increased our digital footprints instead. So what we are focusing on now is promoting complementarities between the ASEAN Community Vision 2025 and the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which we call the Complementarities Initiatives. There is room for potential collaboration between ASEAN and our partners under this Complementarities Initiative to deliver a better quality of life and foster green growth for the benefits of our people and planet. in a post-pandemic world. Some of these areas, and some of the areas that can be worked on include sustainable agriculture, bioenergy, and biomass management, development of BCG innovation corridors, promotion of green technologies, infrastructure connectivity, which includes smart cities and electric vehicles, green finance, as well as green skills trainings for our workforce. Now, all these areas can be advanced through the ASEAN Center for Sustainable Development Studies and Dialogue, situated in Bangkok. So, as the ASEAN Coordinator on Sustainable Development Cooperation, and also as an incoming APEC host, or rather as an APEC host this year, Thailand hopes to drive this BCG cooperation in the region and beyond to rebuild competitive economies in the post-pandemic world and advance a more balanced and sustainable growth that leaves no one behind. Another development which I would like to share is that ASEAN recently adopted a consolidated strategy on the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or 4IR, which aims to guide the ASEAN community's progression towards digital transformation. This has been a disruptive technology which touches all of us. And although the 4IR offers limitless opportunities ranging from improvement of labor market and skills demand, addressing digital skills gap, technology advancement, and low carbon economy, it poses challenges for all the three pillars of the ASEAN community, as ASEAN member states have different levels of readiness for the 4IR. Ladies and gentlemen, as ASEAN is now approaching the end of the ASEAN Community Vision 2025, and with the challenges we have been facing over the past few years, planning for the next evolution is all the more important, but also daunting at the same time. Back in 2020, the ASEAN leaders agreed at the 37th ASEAN Summit to commence work on the development of a post-2025 vision in a comprehensive, pragmatic, balanced, inclusive, and coordinated manner, taking a whole of community approach to synergize efforts across the ASEAN community pillars and among its sectoral bodies to address the increasing complexity of opportunities and challenges facing ASEAN. A high-level task force on ASEAN community's post-2025 vision was established and held its first meeting at the ASEAN Secretariat in early April this year. Thailand has offered to host a second high-level task force meeting in Bangkok, tentatively in June, to continue deliberating on the core elements of the post-2025 vision. So as we make plans for this post-2025 vision, it is important that we draw lessons from our experiences and challenges from the implementation of the current blueprints, as well as our efforts in responding to COVID-19. This is to ensure that ASEAN come up with a new vision, which is forward-looking, implementable, and can be translated into concrete actions with tangible benefits. More importantly, how to ensure that ASEAN can be more responsive and adaptive to new challenges and trends, such as climate change, green agenda, blue economy, digital inclusion, and sustainable urbanization, to name a few. And despite ASEAN's diversity in terms of political systems, level of economic development, and cultural backgrounds, it is important that ASEAN remain united and cohesive and pursue our national interests in tandem with advancing the broader and long-term regional interests. In doing so, ASEAN must foster a stronger sense of ASEAN identity among our peoples and make sure that people can feel the tangible benefits of the ASEAN community. I think one of the greatest achievements of ASEAN has been to effectively promote itself regionally and internationally through a wide range of initiatives. We may now have to focus on doing the same with the peoples of ASEAN. Platforms such as this international conference can encourage ASEAN citizens to find usefulness and further contribute to a dynamic ASEAN community. Before closing my remarks, I would like to share a passage from an article by Thailand's Dr. Thanath Korman, one of ASEAN 5 founding fathers, who posed and answered his own query. And I quote, "What will ultimately be the fate of ASEAN? To this question, I am ready to offer a candid reply. Forgetting my role as a co-founder of the association, my faith in the usefulness and serviceability of ASEAN cannot and will not diminish. If anything, members will find it beneficial to strengthen it. This is a rationale." I could not agree more. We must all play a part in contributing meaningfully in shaping an ASEAN community that we wish to see and live in. An ASEAN community future fit for purpose and future ready. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phonpong, for your presentation and the sharing of your expertise in the session. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the opening ceremony. I am thankful to all guests and participants to this ceremony. We will have a lunch break about 90 minutes and we will come back to the panel discussion at 1 p.m. Thank you.